MAGA comes to talk. All right. I've been following the news today. So, I was talking this morning. We got these huge announcements, right, from Trump. The $2,000, the $2,000 to all the Americans, right? President Trump commented on that again today and repeated his promise to give us each $2,000. And I'm watching all the coverage with the government shutdown, Hakeem Jeffries, different talk in the media, and what's going on here, right? So we've got our two political parties, got the Republicans and the Democrats. So MAGA is the Republican Party. Trump took back the Republican Party. So what's the difference? Welcome, everyone. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe. So what's the difference here? What's going on? What are the Democrats doing and what are the Republicans doing? What's the difference? Well, what the Republicans are doing, led by our great president, President Trump, is making America great again, right? The entire world has been out of balance, right? President Trump is a billionaire who's made his money through real estate, television, golf club memberships. You know that. Licensing of his name and brand and all that stuff since the 1970s. These Democrats, like Pelosi, who's just retiring, how do they all become rich, right? How do all these people that spend their whole life in government become rich? They don't sell hotel rooms or golf memberships. They sell out America, okay? Their product is selling out America. And everything that President Trump is doing is to make life for Americans better. President Trump believes, and this is what he's fixing, President Trump believes that as great of a lifestyle as we all have in the United States, that we could be all living a much better lifestyle, right? And that's what he's fixing with everything that he's doing. And I was talking earlier about this $2,000 we're going to get. That's going to become a regular thing. That's going to become at least an annual thing. Heck, it might even become twice a year. Who knows? That may be the new thing. American taxpayers will get a dividend from the tariffs whenever. Once a year, twice a year, I don't know. I mean, we've never gotten this before from the government. That's pretty freaking awesome to me. And he's doing that because he knows that's life-changing money for people. I've been up a long time, guys. I did a live stream 12 hours ago from this same spot. So, you heard the calls I was getting today. I was asking people when they called in, what are you going to do with your $2,000 in Trump bucks? And people called. One woman has a leak in her bathroom. She's going to call a plumber. One woman called me. She needs a dishwasher. Another lady needs a refrigerator. A guy called me. He's going to put it towards a down payment on a car. People had all kinds of things that they're going to do. So of course it's going to be a big boom for the economy because people are going to have that money. Yet you could take a MAGA cruise with it. Absolutely. There's all kinds of things you can do. I mean, it's just endless, right? What people are going to do with it. President Trump is sick and tired of the United States giving all our money away to other countries and to foreigners that are in the country illegally. And I agree with that. So pay a month's rent. Good for you. That's awesome. That's 1 month rent you don't have to pay. That's money in your pocket, right? Yeah. So the other thing, when you look at the Democrats, what are the Democrats doing, right? Because I was watching the Democrats, say Hakeem Jeffries and such. What are the Democrats doing? What the Democrats are doing is they're desperate to be relevant again, right? They're trying to be relevant. And everything they do makes them more and more irrelevant, right? As an example, this government shutdown that's now over, or this 2000, they should embrace this. But their Trump derangement syndrome doesn't allow them to do it. This is the textbook example of this was President Clinton. In 1994, Newt Gingrich led what was called at the time the Republican Revolution with the Contract for America. And the Republican Party, Bill Clinton was president, he was very popular. The Republican Party, led by Newt Gingrich in the House and Bob Dole in the Senate, they came up with the Contract for America. I don't remember, it's been a long time, 30 years. I don't remember everything that was on it, but it was the Republican platform, vote for us, we're going to do this. The Republicans won both houses. It was the first time in 30 or 40 years, I can't remember if it was 30 or 40 years, it's been 30 years, but it was the first time in at least 30 years, maybe 40 years, that the Republicans controlled both houses at the same time. And the Republican agenda was very popular. So it's 1996, President Trump's up for re-election. He's got these very popular ideas that the Republicans have. What's he going to do? He embraced them. He took the Republican ideas and said, hey, these are good ideas. And he made them his, and he ran on them to re-election because the ideas were so popular. But the Democrats barely exist anymore, right? The party's almost faded away. They do not have any credible leaders. They've got shysters and con men and amateur hour. You know, Hakeem Jeffries is a joke. They don't have any Bill Clintons around. And all they're doing is fighting to be relevant. And they're making themselves irrelevant all of the time. And they can't get themselves to say anything Trump says or does is good because they're afraid that they will mess up whatever little constituency they have left. And it's great because, I apologize, guys, I've been up a long time. The Democrats are done. They got nothing. They represent no one, and they're fighting for their precious illegals all the time, which is what they're doing right now when it comes to this Medicaid thing is all about the illegals. So this is just a great time. Welcome. If you're new to my channel, I'll get some sleep. Don't worry, just not now. If you're new to my channel, make sure that you subscribe. So Glenn Beck was on News Nation talking about Nick Fuentes earlier.
Speaking of civil wars, there's also a mini one happening right now over Nick Fuentes, whether he should be debated with or not, whether his ideas should be given a hearing or not. You have people saying, basically, our enemy, if you're on the right, your enemy is the left. I don't have any enemies on my right. We need to fight the bad guys on the left. And then you have other people saying, actually, no, it's extremely important to police the kooks from our side, people like Fuentes, who's an avowed white nationalist. It's extremely important to insist that we can be American nationalists who are not white nationalists to protect that multiracial coalition that President Trump built, and to say not Fuentes. Where do you fall in terms of those two camps?
Well, I don't think he's worth anybody's time, quite honestly, because I don't think he actually believes anything. I think he's
That's right.
I think he's from this new culture that says the most outrageous things for attention, and I'm not going to give him any attention. I am very clear on anti-Semitism. I am very clear on who and what we should stand for. I am very clear on fascism, communism, authoritarianism, and the U.S. Constitution. So I don't think he's worth debating because there's no logic behind any of that. It's rage, et cetera, and I think it's performance art.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I got to agree with Glenn Beck. You know, people are giving him too much attention. Yep, too much attention. And his biggest supporters are liberals. If you think about it, you know, if you look at my chat, you know, and so those are his biggest supporters. That's right. You know, we can't let these people destroy our movement. We've got the greatest conservative coalition that's ever been assembled, led by Donald Trump, and we are kicking butt. Look at these victories. Look at these victories. You know, what President Trump is doing is amazing. I mean, look. Let me pull this up. this message that the president, this is when he sent to the air traffic controllers. Did you guys see this? He posted this on Truth today. This is President Trump. All air traffic controllers must get back to work now. Anyone who doesn't will be substantially docked. For those air traffic controllers who were great patriots and didn't take any time off for the Democrat shutdown hoax, I will be recommending a bonus of $10,000 per person for distinguished service to our country. For those that did nothing but complain and took time off, even though everyone knew they would be paid in full shortly into the future, I am not happy with you. You didn't step up to help the USA against the fake Democrat attack that was only meant to hurt our country. You will have a negative mark, at least in my mind, against your record. If you want to leave service in the near future, please do not hesitate to do so with no payment or severance of any kind. You will be quickly replaced by true patriots who will do a better job on the brand new state-of-the-art equipment, the best in the world, that we are in the process of ordering. The last administration wasted billions of dollars trying to fix antiquated junk. They had no idea what they were doing. Again, to our great American patriots, God bless you. I won't be able to send your money fast enough. To all others, report to work immediately. God bless America. President Donald J. Trump. Exactly. Exactly. He is spot on. I mean, that's what we want, a real leader who's taking charge. It's a global reset that's going on here with President Trump. He is leading a global reset of everything. Everything in the world has been out of balance with these crooks and gangsters running our country. And that is the sad reality. If you're new, guys, make sure you subscribe. These air traffic controllers were risking people's lives. Giuliani deserved a part. He's a great American war hero of the war on terror. Giuliani deserved that pardon, no doubt about it. Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, John Brennan's freaking out. Listen to this. This is MSNBC talking about Obama CIA Director John Brennan.
Even though there's been attempts by Trump administration figures to suggest that newly declassified evidence, casts aspersions on certain things, but that's fantasy. So it's really going to be interesting to see exactly how this proceeds and whether this case ever gets past any grand jury, whether in Florida or somewhere else. But what we do know, and what we have reported today, is that they are preparing to issue a series of subpoenas, some of which ask questions about the 2017 intelligence assessment, which again has been parsed over and over, and no wrongdoing has been found. And in fact, I reported at the time on the Durham investigation and the pain that CIA officers, for example, had to go through. They had to hire lawyers and go through rigorous questioning by prosecutors, something that no CIA officer wants to experience. And at the end of the day, as you said, John Durham published a report in 2023, didn't lay a glove on that assessment, didn't impugn it in any way. He was critical of the FBI, but not of the CIA. So where this thing goes is perplexing to all of us, but that's the state of play, as I understand.
Yeah, John Brennan is in an utter panic, isn't he? Oh yeah, this is going to be great. The $2,000. Hey, there's Haku. Can you guys see Haku? Haku, come on. Want to be on YouTube, Haku? Come here. This is my daughter's cat. Haku. Come on. Can you guys see him? No, you can't see him yet on camera. Come here, Haku. Haku. He wants to jump, but he's not sure where to jump. There he is. He heard a noise. He got startled. It's windy. Yeah. John Brennan is, that's a good one to start with. Yeah, we got it. The government shutdown is over. Don't listen to what Rand Paul's doing. That'll be handled, Rand Paul's just showboating. He'll get in line and do the right thing soon enough. President Trump ended the government shutdown without any concessions. Totally broke the back of the Democrats. Oh, this is all good stuff. It does not get better than this. In fact, Trump didn't just pardon Giuliani, he pardoned 76 others, including Sidney Powell. So, it doesn't get better than that. So now I wanted to share this. This is what I'm talking about with the Democrats. They have these jokes of people. Here's Hakeem Jeffries today, right? He's the Democrat leader in the House. This guy is such an unqualified boob. Listen. They ask him about Dr. Oz.
Who?
They asked him about Dr. Oz. Listen to his pathetic response that he gives. Hakeem Jeffries. They're asking him some
That's like
questions.
the most random way to start a question on a serious topic. Nobody who's serious in this country takes Dr. Oz seriously. No one. And
Well, that Dr. Oz not only is famous, he is a world famous cardiologist, and the reason we know who he is he was Oprah Winfrey's private cardiologist, personal cardiologist, and she made him famous. He's such a great doctor, she put him on TV. Nobody takes Dr. Oz seriously. He just saved that guy in the Oval Office the other day. When has Hakeem Jeffries saved anybody?
a question on a serious topic. Nobody who's serious in this country takes Dr. Oz seriously. No one. And
Really?
I mean, it's shocking that the guy even was confirmed. But this is part of the reality of Republicans here in the House and over in the Senate. They're nothing more than a rubber stamp for Donald Trump's
That's right.
cruelty and extreme agenda.
Yeah. Right, giving everybody their SNAP benefits. That's cruelty, that's extreme. Paying the air traffic controllers. Trump's paying the military and all the federal workers. That's extreme. That's an extreme agenda. See what I mean about the Democrats? You know, there are some things that are universally good. And because they hate Trump so much, they can't even agree on those. Let me see here. This is... this is a mother in California. Her child has a woke English teacher. Listen to what she says.
Excuse my appearance. This wasn't planned, but you guys are going to need to push this video out. My daughter came home from school today, and I already have issues with her English teacher. She tells our kids that they're on stolen land every day, that they need to appreciate the land, or that we acknowledge it's not our land, and whatever. A lot of things that I just disagree with, but I'm like, whatever, dude. Okay. Like, my daughter is smart. We talk about these things at home. It's fine. Well, she brings home a packet today, and it's all about being an LGBTQ person in a Catholic household and being an immigrant, and that would all sound iffy. It's about talking about the gay people messing around, putting our children in those people's shoes. And it was, I can't even get into everything that it said in there that was weird. I think I'm just gonna post some of the packet in this video, but can you guys push this out? I'm going to the school board next week, and what the hell? Actually, what the hell? Please stick to teaching our children English.
Exactly. Exactly. Not this we're on stolen land crap. What's that all about? We're on stolen land? I mean, what is it with these? If they think we're on stolen land, why don't they leave and go back to the land that belongs to whoever their people are, wherever the LGBTQ plus people are indigenous to? I don't know what they're talking. You know what it is? What is it with the left, right? This is such a great time to be an American and to be a Republican, right? I mean, we've got the greatest president that any of us have ever seen in our lifetime. The Democrat Party has all but evaporated from existence. If you're new to my channel, my name is Brian. Make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And, you know, when I started the stream, I was telling you the differences between the Republican Party, led by Trump, and the Democrats. What Trump is doing is making life better for every American, while the Democrats are trying to help their precious illegals and stay relevant. Like, look at this. President Trump sent the National Guard and federal agents into Memphis, Tennessee, I don't know how, there's no press coverage of it, but he did this a few weeks ago. So, you know, remember, you know, Memphis is a blue city and a red state. So when President Trump cleaned up the crime in D.C., the media and the Democrats said, well, why don't you send the federal agents of the National Guard into a red state? So we found a blue city where there was lots of crime in a red state, Memphis. He sent them there. They've been cleaning up the crime. They've been there 40 days. Listen to this. Trump's Memphis Safe Task Force has located 101 missing children in 40 days. They have found 101 missing children alive. Where's that in the news, right? President Trump deserves the Nobel Prize just for what he's done in Memphis. Isn't that something? I mean, that is absolutely stunning. Think about it, you know? 101 Adam Walshes found safe in just 40 days. It's absolutely amazing. And no one in the media is reporting it. And what are the Democrats doing? Nothing. Nothing. Meanwhile, MAGA Mike Johnson.
So, air travel has been grinded to a halt in many places. And as of Sunday, nearly half of all domestic flights, U.S. flights, were either canceled or delayed. And it's a very serious situation. So I'm saying that by way of reminder. I'm stating the obvious to all my colleagues, Republicans and Democrats in the House. You need to begin right now returning to the Hill. We have to do this as quickly as possible. Now, we look forward to the government reopening this week so Congress can get back to our regular legislative session. We have a lot of business to do, as you all know, and we will be working in earnest. There'll be long days and long nights here for the foreseeable future to make up for all this lost time that was imposed upon us. I want to close with something that's important. I think it's important to say that this is genuine. I mean this sincerely. We applaud the 7 Senate Democrats and 1 independent senator who did the right thing. They decided to put principle over their personal politics. And my urgent plea of all my colleagues in the House, and that means every Democrat in the House, is to think carefully, pray, and finally do the right thing and help us to bring an end to the pain of the American people. This has gone on too long. Too many people have suffered, and it's long overdue. That's the update I wanted to give you this morning. There are probably lots of questions, but I'm going to...
Yeah, but he didn't take any questions. He took off, and they're going to get the government open. Don't worry about Rand Paul. Trump will get Rand Paul. You know, I have very little use for libertarians. Libertarians are always... they're always screwing everything up. Now, did you see this thing about Tucker Carlson talking about being attacked by a demon? Did any of you see this? Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. This clip here, this is Tucker Carlson. He's talking to Megyn Kelly. She is wearing red head to toe, while Tucker is talking about how he was attacked by a demon. And I don't mean figuratively. He means a real demon.
And then I go to bed with my wife and 4 dogs who sleep in the bed. My wife's had 4 children. My dogs are hunting dogs. All 5 of them wake up like that. Like we have no home invaders in my house. I wake up at 2:30 in the morning. I check and I couldn't breathe at all. My throat was closed. It wasn't like I was apnea or was strong as I couldn't breathe. So I get up, I stand in the doorway of our bedroom, and I'm like, wow, I'm dying. I can feel myself starting to gray out. And then I started walking in the backyard, and then it slowly came back, like my throat kind of opened up a little bit. I was like really weirded out. I walk back in, and my wife wakes up. She goes, what is going on? I said, I don't know, I can't breathe. I feel better now, and all of a sudden I had this horrible pain underneath my arms, like on the side of my chest, like bad. I thought I'd been like ripped with a knife or something. It just was very intense. So I go into the bathroom, I flip on the light, and I have claw marks on both sides, on right and left side on my ribs, and they're bleeding. And they're literally claw marks, 4 on either side. I put my fingers in them, don't fit my fingers, and I sleep on my side. So how could and by the way, no one woke up. So I show my wife, and she's like, oh my gosh. And then I have this like crazy intense desire to read the Bible. So I read the Bible and I pass out in like 2 minutes, and I wake up, and the next morning I thought, man, did I have a wild dream? And then I see blood in my sheets, and I go in the bathroom and I have these bloody marks. And my wife goes, I think you were attacked by some supernatural being. And I was like trying to be logical about it. And I was like, yeah, I definitely was. And then I called one of my producers, who's like, oh yeah, well, that's pretty common. I was like, what? And I've had a couple other experiences.
Okay, so is he lying? Does he believe that? Tell me what you think in the chat. Is Tucker lying? Does Tucker believe that? Or was he on some type of bad acid trip? What do you guys think? And why would a demon be attacking him? Does he believe it? Was he tripping? Or is he lying? Just make it. That's a crazy thing to make up because it makes you look crazy. Right? Acid trip, lying. Yeah. Weird. Lying. Mushroom tea. I mean, who would lie about something so ridiculous that makes you look so stupid? I mean, you have to be out of your mind to lie about something like that. I mean, that's embarrassing. I wonder what Megyn Kelly was thinking when that was happening. She must have been like, oh my gosh, I'm up here on stage with him. He took drugs and was tripped, somebody says. Okay. Oh, that's my wife said that. Scratched himself up. Well, we don't know for a fact there were any scratches. We'd have to ask his hunting dogs or his wife. And he calls his producer at 2:30 in the morning and wakes him up. Oh yeah, it's common. I'd be like, what? I would you have answered a phone at 2:30 in the morning if you were the producer? No way. Deviant. Lying to make yourself look. He's lying to make himself look like he's doing something great. Well, speaking of demons, here's James Carville talking about what's going to happen if the Democrats come back into power.
I want to talk to Chief Justice Roberts, Justice Alito, Justice Barrett, Justice Kavanaugh, Justice Gorsuch. I might be forgetting one. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. A Democrat is going to be elected in 2028. You know that. I know that. It's going to be a Democratic House. It's going to be a Democratic Senate. The Democratic president is going to announce a special transition advisory committee on the reform of the Supreme Court, that we could have our third branch of government has lost faith and trust of American people, and his president are going to do everything alone. He's going to appoint a blue ribbon, maybe Judge Ludick and the dean of the, just the usual fucking suspects, all right?
Nice mouth.
And they're going to recommend that the number of Supreme Court justices go from 9 to 13. That's going to happen, people. That's going to happen to you. They're going to win. They're going to do some blue ribbon panel of distinguished jurists, and they are going to recommend 13 and a Democratic Senate and House. They're going to pass it, and the Democratic president is going to sign it because they have to do an intervention so we can have a Supreme Court that the American people trust again. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And I would bet a lot of money that that's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. So what they're doing is unconstitutional. What President Trump is doing is constitutional. The Supreme Court is holding up the Constitution. So they have to pack the Supreme Court by adding 4 more justices so that they can get a Supreme Court that will ignore the Constitution. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll support adding 4 more justices right now. President Trump gets 4 more appointments. What do you guys think? Do you guys support that? President Trump gets 4 more appointments right now. Let's expand the court today. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. You think that's a good idea right now? That's right. Trump gets 4 more appointments. Yeah, sounds pretty good to me. Great idea, James Carville. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, sounds like it. Of course, the Democrats who say that we need to do that, they don't want to do it now. They'll stop us from doing it now. Now, President Trump commented again today on the $2,000 payments to everybody, okay? This is what he said today. All money left over from the $2,000 payments made to low and middle income USA citizens from the from the massive tariff income pouring into our country from foreign countries, which will be substantial, will be used to substantially pay down the national debt. Thank you for your attention in this matter, President DJT. So now we have him twice in 2 days saying that we're going to get $2,000. There it is. He said it again. See, they found out. See, President Trump, Maria Bartiromo reported today that Trump discovered that $1 billion in Medicaid money was spent on illegals. So he's tired of this. They've been spending all this money on others that shouldn't even be here and are here illegally. He wants the American people to have money. Oh, this is exciting. This is one of the most exciting times that you could possibly be living through right now. It'll certainly offset anything from the tariffs. If there's any prices that are up because of the tariffs, that $2,000 will more than make up, or $4,000 for married couples. That's right, 4 more years. I wore this Trump 2028 hat when I went and saw Eric Trump last week. He saw it. This hat was his idea. He was the first person I saw wear one. Oh yeah. So Jack Smith's in all kinds of trouble, and this is Maria Bartiromo. She has a guest on there talking about Jack Smith, who broke into Mar-a-Lago.
What are you going to do to stop this kind of dirty political tricksters?
Well, Jack Smith, in my opinion, this is treasonous. So let that word sink in. That's what this is. Jack Smith and his little cronies will destroy this republic. And I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. I think we could join together and stop this lawfare. I think Lindsey Graham was over the weekend making all the circuit, and he was saying how, think about it in committee, they subpoenaed Verizon and AT&T on their phone records. We do not do this. These are the same type of people that raided Mar-a-Lago and found nothing. If they continue with this, the republic will die. We have to investigate them, whether it's going to be my good friend Jim.
This is a Republican congressman from Ohio talking about Jack Smith.
Jordan or Comer's committee. We have to overturn every stone, find out what they did. How dare they go to Verizon and AT&T and they spy on our duly elected officials?
That's right.
This is the death of the republic. It's treasonous. Jack Smith must be held responsible and probably should do jail time.
Heck yeah, for treason. You know, and Jack Smith is crazier than all of them. You see this guy with his unkempt beard and that picture of him in the scuba suit they keep showing of him. He's crazier than Comey. He's crazier than Governor Newsom and Gretchen Whitmer. He is one of the craziest lunatics that they have. Now I wanted to pull this up. Hold on a second. This is Jasmine Crockett, I'm very surprised. She's actually dumber than AOC. Listen.
I want to be clear that, law enforcement isn't to prevent crime. Law enforcement solves crime, okay?
Law enforcement's not to prevent crime, they solve crime? Not all cops are detectives, Jasmine.
I want to be clear that, law enforcement isn't to prevent crime. Law enforcement solves crime, okay? That is what they're supposed to do. They are supposed to solve crimes, not necessarily prevent them from happening.
You know what's crazy? She's a lawyer, right? She supposedly passed the bar. I mean, she was a practicing attorney. How did she pass the bar exam? I mean, if she can pass the bar exam, why can't Kim Kardashian pass the bar exam? Right? Exactly. Oh, we have an education. We have an education. Now, another thing that the Democrats are really panicked about is that Elon Musk is about to become the first trillionaire in the world. And we got our problems with Elon Musk, right? Okay, President does too. But the idea that the first trillionaire in all of the world is going to be an American and also African American, they're not happy about this. This is Ro Khanna. He's on CNN. Listen with that Casey Hunt girl, and they just don't like the idea of having a trillionaire.
Very briefly, sir, before I let you go, you mentioned income inequality.
Do you think
income inequality? I mean, just in this chat room and me, there's inequality all over the place. So what does that mean? Everybody is supposed to have the same amount of money? This CNN hostess, is there income inequality between her and the staff that work on her show, or do all the people that work on her show on CNN make what she makes? Or is there income inequality there? Ro Kahana, this Democrat jerk, who's a very strange looking dude, okay? Is there income inequality in his office, or does his congressional staff make what he makes as a congressman?
Very briefly, sir, before I let you go, you mentioned income inequality. Do you think that Elon Musk should be a trillionaire? Is that a thing?
Should he be a trillionaire? Of course he should, if he can. Isn't that cool?
Very briefly, sir, before I let you go, you mentioned income inequality. Do you think that Elon Musk should be a trillionaire? Is that a thing we should have?
I said I'm all for Elon becoming a trillionaire as long as we can have a 5% trillionaire tax. We would have childcare, $10 a day with childcare workers making $20 an hour for the 5% trillionaire tax. My problem is not the wealth generation, it's that it hasn't been taxed. Have a wealth tax on all these billionaires and trillionaires. By the way, there are more of them in my district than anywhere in the world. And if I can be for taxing them more, it shouldn't be a hard vote for the other 434 members of Congress.
Fair enough. Congressman Ro Khanna.
Should we have, what does that mean? Should we have trillionaires? So he wants to pass a law to tax one individual, Elon Musk, the Elon Musk law. We're going to pass a special tax just to tax Elon Musk because he's the only trillionaire? I don't know. That doesn't seem fair. That doesn't seem legal, does it? There seems to be a little bit of an issue with that. Had a couple of things I wanted to play. Hold on a second here. Hold on a second. Where is that soundbite? So, oh yeah, okay. This is Mark Wayne Mullen, and I was looking for the Marjorie Taylor Greene clip that he's referencing here. I can't find it. I have it somewhere. But Marjorie Taylor Greene's complaining about prices, right? She's talking like a Democrat. And Senator Mark Wayne Mullen is responding here to Marjorie Taylor Greene on Fox over the weekend.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think she's great, but I don't know what she's talking about. Walmart just came out and said that grocery prices are down over 20% this time last year. They said Thanksgiving, and that was the CEO of Walmart. Amazon said that the trinkets, the things you were buying last year for Christmas, are down. We have inflation that was at a high of 9.1%, average of 5% underneath Biden. Today it's hovering around 2.5%. Energy prices are down, the lowest they've been since President Trump was last in office. And we know energy is the backbone of inflation. And you can't make a product, you can't deliver a product without factoring the energy costs into it. So prices are down. What is up is protein, which is a lot of people, protein meaning pork, chicken, and beef.
Okay, so I'm going to respond to what he said. Someone said, why would anyone defend someone hoarding that much money? Because it's his money that he's earned through his great innovations. He sends rockets into space every day. This thing about the beef prices, okay? Because the beef prices are high. There's no doubt about it. Beef is high. I mean, I would not buy a steak right now at the grocery store. And President Trump ordered the Justice Department to investigate what's going on with the beef. And my guess is, and I'm going to share what I think might be going on here. And let me know yes or no if you think what I'm about to say could be true. Okay? There's a very strong possibility. Why are the beef prices so insanely out of control right now? I'll tell you. We've seen all these stories about how these foreign interests through shell companies and everything else have been buying up farmland to get control over our food supply. Do you think it is possible, yes or no, is it possible that foreign interest, whether it's China or some other country, have enough ownership and influence over American beef that they're driving the price up to cause political problems in this country for the president? What do you guys think? See, this is the problem. This is why foreigners should not own any U.S. farmland, have any ownership of any food product. Well, I'm glad you guys agree with me on that. Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going on. You know, I think that it's probably China are manipulating the beef prices to cause disruption and disunity and problems for the government in this country. That's exactly what's going on. We don't know for sure, but that would be at the top of my list. See, that's the danger. See, you know, if China, as an example, they own a lot of farmland. Say they own, I don't know, what's the most common fruit or vegetable? You know, say they own the green beans, right? They own a lot of the green bean production, farming, right? Well, they could do something that would cause the green beans not to produce, to rot for whatever reason, and all of a sudden green bean prices are up. You know, potato, you could do the same thing, yeah. And how do you prove that? You know, I got trees and things like this and bushes that I maintain in my yard, and I got one that's on life support. You know, I had some bushes out front that weren't doing well that I nursed back to health. Now I got this tree on the side of my house over here that I'm trying to nurse it back to health. But you know, when it comes to growing things, so many factors can go wrong. You could lose a whole season's crops of green beans or potatoes, and nobody could prove that you did it on purpose. And then all of a sudden, you've had a hardcore impact on the economy, on the American people, and you've created political problems too. So this thing with the beef prices, it's just too high. It makes no sense whatsoever. No sense whatsoever. You know, the last time I went to the grocery store, I went to pick up a steak. I said, forget about it. No, the ficus trees are gone. The oh shoot, I forgot. If my wife's in the chat room, she'll tell you. I got one tree that I'm going to nurse it back to health. I forgot what kind of tree it is. No, it's a gardenia bush. It's a gardenia bush on the side of my house over here. It's not doing well, and I'm going to nurse it back to health. But think about it. If you have an interest in beef, how hard is it for you if you own enough of the cattle farming, right, that's going on? How difficult is it for you to raise the price? And, you know, I'm very curious how this works, because remember, you know, Hakeem Jeffries was talking about Dr. Oz. Well, remember Dr. Phil? Remember how Dr. Phil became famous? He, yep, the ficus trees were gone. That's right. I got all new trees now. But Dr. Phil became famous because he was Oprah Winfrey's therapist when she was being sued by the beef industry. Remember that? The cattlemen were suing her for something she had said. I can't remember what the whole story was. And he was her therapist during that trial. Are the beef people today the same beef people that were around when Oprah was in court, when she was being sued by them, with Dr. Phil by her side every day? And I just have a feeling that there's something going on there. And I hope they get to the bottom of it. And I bet you President Trump knows exactly what's going on. They're just going to go there to prove what he knows. That's the danger. Foreigners should not own any aspect of the food industry because of things just like this. You know, it's a national security issue. It's a total national security issue. If you're new to my channel, make sure that you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk, as you can tell. But, you know, and I mean, look at it. President Trump has gotten, inflation is almost non-existent. So prices aren't going up. He's gotten the prices of some things down, including gasoline. Things are coming down. But the beef prices, still through the roof. Yep, something's not kosher about the beef prices. It very well could be an economic terrorist attack on our country. Oh, speaking of that, I played this clip this morning, but I want to play it again for you guys. I played it yesterday too, but I think it's an important one. Hold on, let me pull this up. Oh yes, here it is. This is Mamdani. This is the one that blows my mind. This is Mamdani over the weekend in Puerto Rico.
Commissioner Tisch received a heads up from ICE.
Now, Commissioner Tisch is the NYPD police commissioner.
Commissioner Tisch received a heads up from ICE that that raid would occur on Canal Street. Now, apparently she did give the Adams administration a heads up. If you were in his shoes, how would you have reacted to this? Would you have said, yes, NYPD officers do not interfere with ICE, but how would you have acted as mayor?
What I will continue to do is be someone who will stand up for New Yorkers when Donald Trump is seeking to fulfill his promise to create the single largest deportation force in American history. And my NYPD will continue to not be of assistance to ICE whenever they are trying to terrorize New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs.
Okay. Now, I played this morning, and I shared it yesterday. Here we have the Muslim mayor of New York City, which is just insane to me that this has happened. Here we are 24 years after 9/11. We have a Muslim mayor of New York City just elected, and the Muslim mayor is calling the U.S. government the terrorist, right? That's what he said. He called President Trump and the U.S. government a terrorist, and they're who are terrorizing New York City.
To this, would you have said, yes, NYPD officers do not interfere with ICE, but how would you have acted as mayor?
What I will continue to do is be someone who will stand up for New Yorkers when Donald Trump is seeking to fulfill his promise to create the single largest deportation force in American history. And my NYPD will continue to not be of assistance to ICE whenever they are trying to terrorize New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs.
Wow. That is so inappropriate. I wanted to, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Hold on, I wanted to tell you guys about something, because this is, I want to get the name of the series. Okay. There is, have you heard of this Netflix series about the assassination of President Garfield? It's called Death by Lightning. Death by Lightning. It's about the assassination of President Garfield, who I think was the 20th president of the United States. Have you heard about this? If you have Netflix, watch it. I'm going to tell you this, okay? When President Garfield, his assassination, I watched the first episode last night. It's very good. I've always thought something was off about the assassination of Garfield. Now, I don't know if they're going to get into this in this series or not, totally. But it's very good for a number of reasons, and you really should watch it. It's called Death by Lightning. I'm going to tell you 2 things. One, it's the 1880 presidential election. Garfield got the nomination quite by accident. He was not supposed to. He wasn't a part of the Republicans ran things because it was so close to the Civil War. In fact, President Grant had already been president for 8 years. He had not been president for 4 and was trying to become president for a 3rd term, which obviously he failed. But there's a couple things about this. One of the main characters is the senior senator from New York, Cockling was his name. And he is there with Taft, right? He went on to be President Taft. And Taft was the port commissioner for the port at New York. And this is a big thing with this. That is where the federal government got almost all of its revenue from, was through the port of New York, through tariffs in the 1800s, which is what President Trump's trying to take us back to. And so goes the story. This insane man assassinated President Garfield, Charles Guiteau, who was a crazy person. But so goes the story that he assassinated President Garfield. Well, he did. He shot him in a train station. Here we are, 15 years after Lincoln was assassinated. Garfield was without security in a train station. I can't remember Was it in Philadelphia? Was it in Pittsburgh? I can't remember where the train station was. But anyway, I watched the series. I'll tell you, it was in Pennsylvania. No security, and he got shot by this lunatic. Well, I've always thought that was a little strange. And and if you watch this series, you'll get some information on it. Yeah, Howard Taft. President Garfield got the Republican nomination against the Republican establishment of the day of 1880, and I think that they killed him. I think the establishment, the Never Garfield, we got Never Trumpers now, the Never Garfielders assassinated President Garfield, and I never talked about this prior to Butler because I didn't think it was appropriate. Okay, for obvious reasons. Okay, but to my knowledge, we've only had 2 presidents who were not a part of the political establishment of the day. Only 2, President Trump and President Garfield. And when President Garfield became president, the political establishment lost complete power, like that, right? They killed him. And Taft, they made Taft his running mate, so he was the vice president. So Taft, who was part of the Republican establishment, became president. It's just like Trump and Butler. It's a carbon copy. So was it Baltimore? Was it Baltimore? Okay, it's been a long time since I studied Garfield. So Baltimore, whatever. But that is without a doubt, he's the only other president not a part of the political establishment. He went against the political establishment, stood up against the political establishment, and the establishment lost complete power when he was elected, and boom, they shot him dead. And just like they've been doing with Trump all these years, and they even shot Trump and tried to do it again. It is. Now they got him early on in his presidency, and he didn't have, But that was it Baltimore? I can't remember. It's been a long time since I studied it. But it's on Netflix. It's called Death by Lightning. I've only watched the first episode, and the first episode was very good, and it's accurate to the best of my recollections because I haven't read up on Garfield in a long time. But after I watch this series, I think I'm going to. It's the same people that shot President Trump, shot Charlie Kirk and killed him. They always find an insane patsy, right? Lee Harvey Oswald, this lunatic with the transgendered boyfriend, Guteau. They always find these lunatics to be their patsies. And I thought that about Garfield for a long, long time. But before they shot President Trump and Butler, I didn't think it was a good idea to say, well, the only other president that's not a part of the establishment they killed. I didn't think it would be smart to talk about that. But that is so true. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe, guys. Death by Lightning, it's called. That's right. I'll talk to you.